Book lovers. Author Emily Henry, one of my favorite authors. Colleen Hoover, an insightful, delightful, instant #1 New York Times bestseller from the author of Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. Named a most anticipated book of 2022 by Oprah Daily Today Parade Marie Claire Bustle Pop Sugar Katie Couric Media BookBub She Reads Medium The Washington Post and more. One summer. Two rivals. A plot twist they didn't see coming. Nora Stevens' life is books, she's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister Libby, which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away, with visions of a small-town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. But instead of picnics and meadows, or run-ins with a handsome country doctor or bulging four-armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. The Kiss Quotient. Author Helen Hoang. From the author of The Bride Test comes a romance novel hailed as one of the Washington Post's 50 notable works of fiction in 2018 and one of Amazon's top 100 books of 2018. This is such a fun read, and it's also quite original and sexy and sensitive. Roxane Gay, New York Times best-selling author, Hoang's writing bursts from the page. BuzzFeed, a heartwarming and refreshing debut novel that proves one thing: the world to predict what will make your heart tick. Stella Lane thinks math is the only thing that unites the universe. She comes up with algorithms to predict customer purchases, a job that has given her more money than she knows what to do with, and way less experience in the dating department than the average 30-year-old. It doesn't help that Stella has Asperger's and French kissing reminds her of a shark getting its teeth cleaned by pilot fish. Her conclusion: she needs lots of practice with a professional. Which is why she hires escort Michael Fan. The Vietnamese and Swedish stunner can't afford to turn down Stella's offer, and agrees to help her check off all the boxes on her lesson plan, from foreplay to more than missionary position. Before long, Stella not only learns to appreciate his kisses, but crave all of the other things he's making her feel. Their no-nonsense partnership starts making a strange kind of sense, and the pattern that emerges will convince Stella that love is the best kind of logic. It ends with Us, a novel. 1. Author Colleen Hoover, now a major motion picture starring Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, from the #1 New York Times best-selling author of It Starts With Us and All Your Perfects, a brave and heartbreaking novel that digs its claws into you and doesn't let go, long after you've finished it. Anna Todd, New York Times best-selling author, about a young woman in a new relationship who can't stop thinking about her first love. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. And when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life seems too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. And the way he looks in scrubs certainly doesn't hurt. Lily can't get him out of her head. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. Even as Lily finds herself becoming the exception to his no-dating rule, she can't help but wonder what made him that way in the first place. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. An honest, evocative, and tender novel, It Ends With Us is a glorious and touching read, a forever keeper. The kind of book that gets handed down, USA Today. Red, White, Royal Blue, a novel. Author Casey McQuiston, instant New York Times and USA Today bestseller, Goodreads Choice Award winner for Best Debut and Best Romance of 2019, Best Book of the Year for Vogue, NPR, Vanity Fair, and more. What happens when America's first son falls in love with the Prince of Wales? When his mother became president, Alex Claremont Diaz was promptly cast as the American equivalent of a young royal. Handsome, charismatic, genius, his image is pure. Millennial marketing gold for the White House. There's only one problem. Alex has a beef with the actual Prince, Henry, across the pond. And when the tabloids get hold of a photo involving an Alex-Henry altercation, U.S/British relations take a turn for the worse. Heads of family, state, and other handlers devise a plan for damage control, staging a truce between the two rivals. What at first begins as a fake, Instagrammable friendship grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret romance with a surprisingly unstuffy Henry that could derail the campaign and upend two nations, and begs the question: can love save the world after all? Where do we find the courage and the power to be the people we are meant to be? And how can we learn to let our true colors shine through? Casey McQuiston's Red, White, Royal Blue proves true love isn't always diplomatic. I took this with me wherever I went and stole every second I had to read. Absorbing, hilarious, tender, sexy, this book had everything I crave. I'm jealous of all the readers out there who still get to experience Red, White, Royal Blue for the first time. Christina Lauren, New York Times best-selling author of The Unhoneymooners. Red, White, Royal Blue is outrageously fun. It is romantic, sexy, witty, and thrilling. I loved every second. Taylor Jenkins Reid, New York Times best-selling author of Daisy Jones the Sixth. Beach Red. Author Emily Henry, from the #1 New York Times best-selling author of People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers, a romance writer who no longer believes in love and a literary writer stuck in a rut, engaged in a summer-long challenge that may just upend everything they believe about happily ever afters. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes. Best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke, and bogged down with writer's block. Until, one hazy evening, one thing leads to another and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult, obviously. Everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Really.